Industry Summit series. When it became apparent that we would not be able to host our annual Kentucky Creative Industry Summit as an in-person event, we began redesigning it as a virtual event. And rather than cram all the content into a day-long Zoom meeting, we're going to spread it out over several months. Today, we're going to hear from representatives from the National Endowment for the Arts and South Arts and the Kentucky Arts Council about grants and partnership opportunities with each of those organizations. This morning, this session is going to kick off with Joshua Mauthe, the NEA's Senior Advisor in the Office of the Senior Deputy Chairman. Josh joined the National Endowment for the Arts in February as the Senior Advisor to the Office of the Senior Deputy Chairman. Josh joins us after serving as the Executive Assistant to the CEO of the American Council of Life Insurers. During his 14-year career in Washington, D.C., he has worked for 2 White House cabinet secretaries and did advance for the President and the First Lady. Josh has a passion for politics and in his spare time enjoys painting, drawing, and spending time with his family and friends. So welcome, Josh. We're excited to have you be a part of today's NEA Town Hall, and I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, wonderful. Well, thank you, Director Cathers. Thank you, everyone in Kentucky, for inviting the National Endowment for the Arts to present to everyone in Kentucky. And I have a brief message from our chairman, Marianne Carter, and we'll play that now.
Hi, Kentucky. Thank you for joining this virtual town hall meeting. While the pandemic has caused devastation across America, especially throughout the arts sector, meeting together like this is more important than ever. In 2019, between staff and myself, we visited all 50 states. And if not for the pandemic, we would have done it again this year. But we'll get back out there when the time is right. Until then, this town hall meeting is a terrific forum for us to stay connected. So thank you again for joining today. Josh, take it away.
Thanks, Marianne. That was a wonderful message for everyone attending today. So I'm just going to get started with my presentation. And here I go. Okay, so in 1965, the National Endowment for the Arts was established by President Lyndon B. Johnson. We are the only arts funder in America, public or private, that supports all of the arts in all 50 states, U.S. territories, and the 435 congressional districts. Now, we have a vision and mission statement, of course, like every organization or agency. But Marianne Carter, Chairman Carter's main priority and mission and vision for the National Endowment for the Arts. Everybody knows, contact us for help or assistance. COVID-19. COVID-19 hit the world in a large, devastating way, but it also hit the United States in a devastating way. We had record job loss. We had record economic loss. And then the Arts Endowment also did a national survey of arts organizations in the field. We basically wanted to find out what the impact on them was and how they had a recovery process in plan. So in March and April of 2020, the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector fell in a job loss from 2.4 million jobs to 1.1 million jobs, which is a record loss of 54%. That's a huge amount. The survey of art organizations was a great way to find out how everyone's doing in the field and how we can help them. The CARES Act. We were very fortunate to have Congress include the Arts Endowment in the CARES Act. We received $75 million in the CARES Act fund. $30 million of that went directly to our states and regions, and we did this in 18 days after the president signed the CARES Act into law. 18 days. We did day and night work to get that $30 million out to the states and regions. So that left us with $45 million that went directly to art organizations. And we were able to grant 855 grants by July 1st. And these grants were designated to save jobs. We wanted to keep the lights on and the doors open. This map shows our state and regional partnerships. We have partnership agreements with the 50 designated state art agencies, US territories, and 6 regional art organizations. The color coding on this map aligns each state with their regional art organization. So when Congress passes the budget every year, and we are a part of that budget and we receive our funds to function for the year, 40% of that by law directly goes to the states and regions. And then the rest of it is for direct grants through the Arts Endowment. There are 15 program disciplines, art disciplines within the Arts Endowment. You would pick one of your 15 out of these 15 disciplines to apply for a grant. You would go to Arts.gov and go to the artistic field tab, and in the drop down it will list all of these art disciplines that you can choose from to apply for a grant. Also, a good resource on our website at Arts.gov is in the search engine, go to 2020 Guide. The 2020 Guide is a PDF file online that has all kinds of information about the Arts Endowment, but on page 20 and 21, it does list out these 15 art disciplines. It gives the name of the specialist, their contact number, and email. So this is a great resource to use to contact our staff at the office. And a lot of times I'm hearing that people are afraid to apply for a grant with the National Endowment for the Arts because they're afraid to contact our art specialists because that may hurt their ability to get a grant through the Arts Endowment, which is completely false. There's very knowledgeable people that work at the Arts Endowment in each of these fields. And if you call one of the art disciplines, let's say you call dance to start to apply for a grant and you have questions. And for some reason, the dance specialist feels like you might fit better into the musical theater portion. They'll direct you over to the musical theater specialist, and then you'll go from there in the application process. When you apply for a grant, there are 3 levels that you go through. The first level is a panel of your peers. This panel is diverse in geography, gender, ethnicity, and expertise. There's about 5 to 6 people on each panel. There's 1 lay person on the panel, and that person is knowledgeable in the arts, but does not make a living from the arts. And they review about 30 to 40 applications, and they have about 5 weeks to prepare and review all the applications. Once those are all reviewed and approved, they go to the second level, which is our National Council on the Arts. The National Council on the Arts then also reviews and gives their approvals to the third level, which is our chairman. And our chairman has the final approval on all grants given out by the Arts Endowment. At the bottom of my slide, you'll see Become a Panelist. And there's a website there. You can go to that website, and I suggest you do that if you want to become a panelist and help out with the panel reviews. This is a great way to get your feet wet, to find out what the process is like, what good applications look like, and what not so good applications look like. So if you're going to prepare to apply for a grant, you've been part of this. You've been part of the whole process. You know what they're looking for. We have 3 categories within the Arts Endowment. There's grants for arts projects. This used to be called ArtsWorks, if you are familiar with ArtsWorks, but we've renamed it to Grants for Arts Projects. We have Our Town and we have Research. And these are the largest grants that we offer to nonprofit organizations, and they receive the bulk of our direct funding. The first one, Grants for Art Projects, and like I mentioned, it was ArtWorks at one time, is one of our largest funding streams. We give about 2,000 grants per year. Each organization that's applying for a grant must have 3 years of art programming history to be eligible. They must also have a 1-to-1 non-federal cost match to apply for the grants. We fund large and small projects. We fund new and existing projects. And we fund projects that take place in all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and our U.S. territories. These grants, like I said, they include funding for the creation, presentation, exhibition, education, and services to the field. There are 2 deadlines within the year, and that is February and July, and you would pick one, only one. You can only pick to apply for the grant in February, or you can apply in July, not both times. And these grants generally range between $10,000 and $100,000. Our Town. Our Town is the National Endowment for the Arts Creative Placemaking Program. These grants support projects that integrate arts, culture, and design activities into efforts that strengthen the communities by advancing economic, physical, and social outcomes. We give these out to nonprofit, design, or cultural organizations and local government entities. Generally, the grants range from $25,000 to about $150,000, and the deadline for this one is in August. Research activities. Research is a great department within our agency. They research grants that support research that investigates the value and or impact of the arts. And the Arts Endowment also publishes research materials analysis on topics affecting artists and art organizations. These grants are, the grant applications are due in March of each year. Some eligibility requirements. Eligibility requirements for to apply for a grant with the Arts Endowment is you must have a DUNS number. The DUNS number identifies you as an organization, and you must also have your grants.gov and sam.gov registration up to date. You must also have a 3-year art history programming to be eligible, and you must have at least the 1-to-1 non-federal cost match to be eligible for these applications. And like I said earlier, there's only 1 per organization per year. Organizations that we fund nonprofit, local government agencies, nonprofit educational institutions such as historically Black colleges and universities, tribal colleges and universities, and Hispanic serving institutions. We also serve the nonprofit tax-exempt 501c3s, and we also give grants out to school districts. Funding may not be used for general operating support or seasonal support. Well, for just a nugget of information, during the CARES Act, and if anyone was applying for a grant with the CARES Act, since our guidelines do not allow grants to be used for general operating support or seasonal support, Congress waived that guideline, and you were able to use funding from the CARES Act for general operating support and seasonal support. But you may not also use funding with your from your grants for creation of new organizations, facility construction, purchase, or renovation. We can help and give grants to the design portion of this, but we cannot give grants to facility construction, purchase, or renovation. And we do not give grants to individual schools. We give them to school districts, but not to individual schools. Some helpful hints. Helpful hints, complete your grants.gov and sams.gov registrations as soon as possible. Even if you think that you have it up to date, just make sure. Because I know that our application process with the Arts Endowment is pretty daunting. And I don't want you to have to go through the grants.gov and sam.gov application process and then have to go through ours. So just make sure those are current. Contact our staff with questions. This is one of my favorites. Contact the staff with questions. I mentioned this before. Contact them throughout the entire application process. They want you to be successful. They want to help you. And like I mentioned before, their help and assistance has nothing to do with you getting a grant through the Arts Endowment. And then also, I like to tell a story about how I first came to the Arts Endowment and I was getting to know the different art disciplines. And I would go to their different meetings for the disciplines. And this one time, a lady came in and she was late to the meeting. And she apologized to everybody in the group. Of course, she knew everybody in the room. I didn't know barely anyone. But she apologized to everybody, saying that she was on the phone with some person who was applying for a grant. This person she knew by name. She knew the person's family members, about the family. She knew dogs' names. She knew everything about this person. So that just goes to show how personable and helpful our specialists are in each of the disciplines. They get to know you. They get to know your application process, your worries, your concerns, your thoughts, and the whole process. So contact our staff with questions. Ask a friend to proofread for typos and clarity. Now, we all have been there. We all have been on a document and we think that we have everything up to date and the grammar is all great. So have a friend who's not part of your application at all. Have them read it and look for typos, clarity, and to see if your application project description comes through to them and if they feel like they are getting a good indication of what you're wanting the grant to go for. Tell a story. Why this project? Why now? And what will change as a result? And you always can review sample application narratives on our website. That will give you the good application narratives that have received grants. So that's a good tool to use as well. This is a screenshot of our agency's website. If you're applying for a grant, you would go to the Grants tab, and in the drop-down of that Grants tab, it will say Apply for a Grant. You would click the Apply for a Grant, and then that will take you through the process of applying for a grant with the National Endowment for the Arts. You'd pick your art discipline, you would pick research or our town, and then do the process of applying for the grant. I like to also point out that the artistic fields, that's what I said about earlier, is that when you're picking your discipline, you would go to the artistic fields tab, and in that drop down, it lists all those art disciplines. But again, they also if you click on each one of those, they also give a contact phone number and email and name for the person who's in charge of that area. So that's also a great tool to get in contact with our office. Some national initiatives that we have with the National Endowment for the Arts is Creative Forces, and that's using arts therapy to help our wounded soldiers with PTSD or emotional problems. We have Big Read, which is kind of like a book club through the Arts Endowment. We have Blue Star Museums, which is great. It's where about 2,000 art museums across the country participate, and they give free admission to our active military and their immediate family members. We also have Shakespeare in American Communities, which we have real life actors that go into middle school and high school students and teach them about Shakespeare, and they do educational activities. And we have Poetry Out Loud. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Poetry Out Loud. Unfortunately, this year we had to cancel the finals in Washington, D.C., but we are having a virtual town hall or virtual Poetry Out Loud in 2021. So we're still waiting to hear back from each of the states to see what they were going to do, if they're going to do in-person competitions or if they're going to do virtual competitions. Because from each of those states, that winner comes to Washington, D.C., but this time they'll do a virtual Washington, D.C. Poetry Out Loud finals. Arts and the economy. When the economy was doing wonderful, arts made up about $877 billion of our economy, which is 4.5% of the nation's GDP. If you look to the right, between March and April, when COVID-19 hit, we did a research on the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector, and we had a 42.4% job loss in our industry. That was second to the accommodation and food services, which just goes to show how important the National Endowment for the Arts is to helping the arts, entertainment, and recreation fields. Next, I have my contact information. My contact information is for you to use if you want to email me questions. If we don't get to those questions during this time frame, email me your questions and I'll get them answered for you. I want to leave you with a few pointers. Contact me, like I just said, for questions and comments. Contact our staff for questions and help through the application process. And just remember that we're always here for you. We want to help, we want you to be successful, and we want to get grants out to our people. So thank you to everyone at the Kentucky Arts Council for having me here today. I think this was a great opportunity to get the word out on the National Endowment for the Arts. So I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Josh. And I want to say on behalf of the Kentucky Arts Council and our board, we are very appreciative of the relationship that we have with you, with Chairman Carter and the rest of the staff at the National Endowment for the Arts. And to go back and reiterate a couple of things that Josh had said, they are approachable. You can reach out to any of these individuals and Josh and will get a response. They want to help. And Kentucky's had a very good relationship with them. We're also appreciative of the fact that how quickly, when you mentioned the CARES Act funds, how quickly that the NEA responded to that and made those funds available to each of the states and to each of the regions. And in Kentucky, we received $454,000 of that, and we were able to turn that around very quickly. So thank you so much. And I know our arts organizations in the state are thankful for that as well. But a great job on how quickly, I don't think people understand how fast you were able to make that happen. And that's unprecedented, but in this time of need, it's very much appreciated. So thank you for that. Also want to mention that there is a Q&A function on today's webinar. And so for the town hall, if you have questions that come up as each of these presentations are going on, feel free to post a question in there. And once we get through all of the presentations, we'll go back and answer those questions as they come in. So now I'd like to welcome Susie Surkamer from South Arts. Susie, it's great to have you on here, and I'm glad that we are able to show both our federal, our regional, and state relationships here. And I think this is a great opportunity for our organizations in the state to see how these align. And based off of Josh's map too, when you see the relationship of the regional organizations and how they fit into the overall structure with this, I know here in Kentucky, we're very pleased at the relationship we have with South Arts. But Susie Surkamer began as the South Arts Executive Director in 2012. Previously, she had been the Executive Director of the South Carolina Arts Commission until she retired in 2009. Her past services include President of the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies, Treasurer of the Association of Performing Arts Presenters, a member of the Coca-Cola Scholarship National Selection Committee, a member of the National Arts Education Partnership Steering Committee, a member of the Winthrop University Board of Visitors, a member of Clemson University's President's Advisory Committee, and on panels for the NEA and other organizations. Winthrop University awarded her its Medal of Honor in the Arts in 2006, and NASA, the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies, recognized her with the Gary Young Award in 2008. Susie earned a Master's of Education in Dance Education from George Washington University and a Bachelor's in Dance from the University of Maryland. And so when she's not doing all of those things, she helps each of our states in the South Arts region and connects with us on a number of projects and programs. So Susie, welcome to today's NEA Town Hall.
Thank you, Chris. And hello, Kentucky. I am so excited to be with you today and look forward to when I will be able to be with you at some point in the future in person. We are hoping at South Arts that we will have a board meeting of South Arts in Kentucky in this coming year. So as Chris said, my name is Susie Surkamer. I'm the Executive Director of South Arts. I want to thank Chris Cathers and the Kentucky Arts Council for inviting me and South Arts to be part of the Summit Series today. As Executive Director of your State Arts Council, Chris serves on the South Arts Board of Directors and has just recently been appointed to the Executive Committee. He represents Kentucky so well and provides valuable input and leadership for the Southern region. I just want to take this moment to express my thanks and appreciation to Chris. And of course, it is an honor to be on the program with our friends and partners at the National Endowment for the Arts. So today, it's my pleasure to introduce or reintroduce you to South Arts. A lot has changed at South Arts in the last few years and will continue to change in the near future. We are in a period of rapid change and growth. We're broadening our reach into more artistic disciplines and communities, and we are introducing new programs. We are more nimble than ever, able to respond quickly to changes in our cultural environment, like the current pandemic. I'm going to give you a quick overview of our mission and goals, and then tell you briefly about our programs. I hope along the way, you'll find a program or service that will make you want to reach out to us for more information. At South Arts, our mission is advancing Southern vitality through the arts. We believe that the American South has a distinct and unique culture arising from our complicated history, our blend of ethnicities, and our shared experiences. We use the arts to celebrate where we've been, but more importantly, we use the arts to help create our path forward together. At South Arts, we believe the arts and the opportunity for all people to create and benefit from the arts have the power to build stronger communities and a more vibrant, successful South. South Arts is one of 6 regional arts organizations around the country, just as Josh mentioned. We're based in Atlanta and work on behalf of the 9 southern states: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Each of these states has its own arts council, like the Kentucky Arts Council, and its own unique approach to serving the arts in their state. We at South Arts create a platform where those states can come together to address common challenges and opportunities, collaborate with one another, and amplify their work within the region. South Arts looks for opportunities to provide programs and services that individual states may not be able to do on their own, and that are likely to advance the arts for the entire region. We are committed to serving rural parts of our region, not just big cities, and expanding the number and types of organizations we serve. Here is how we frame our work within our current strategic plan. Our strategic goals are all about raising the visibility of the arts in the South. We work with artists and arts organizations to help them more successful and visible. We connect and convene people, organizations, and resources to one another so that they can do their work more collaboratively and effectively. We try to understand the needs of Southern communities and show them how their challenges can be addressed through the arts. We build partnerships that help us find the resources and connections we need to advance Southern vitality through the arts, like our remarkable partnership with the National Endowment for the Arts. And we represent the South at the national level to make sure Southern artists and arts organizations are at the table for national conversations. Now I'd like to tell you about many of our programs and funding opportunities, starting with those available for organizations, including community cultural organizations, colleges and universities, libraries, museums, performing arts venues, etc. And you'll see that most of our grant programs offer Southern communities access to the arts by fostering meaningful engagement with art and artists. Like the Performing Arts Touring Grants, which support community performances by guest artists in the South in theater, opera, dance, etc. Traditional Arts Touring Grants, which promote the appreciation of traditional arts in the South by supporting community residencies by traditional artists and folklorists. Express Grants, which offers quick turnaround funding for organizations in small communities that want to book a performing artist, as well as visiting literary, visual, or film artists. And cross-sector impact grants, in which arts organizations partner with non-arts organizations for arts projects that address community issues like arts and literacy, arts and the environment, arts and healthcare, etc. We also have programs that support an organization's staff and individual artists. At South Arts, we value diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. So we are excited to offer the Emerging Leaders of Color program aimed at arts administrators and cultural workers in the South. It will provide professional development and team building workshops for 11 to 13 participants at no cost. South Arts is accepting applications for this program due September 15th. And this is a brand new program. We have not offered this program before. Our professional development artist planning grants support staff development for arts organizations. Activities like attending conferences or training workshops, seeing live work, or planning meetings with artists. This can include virtual professional development in this age of social distancing. Finally, we are announcing today or tomorrow, so shh, you're getting the advance word on this. We're announcing scholarships up to $200 to Southern Arts presenters so they can attend the joint virtual booking conference by Arts Midwest and Western Arts Alliance in October. These awards will be made on a first come, first served basis, but we will pay attention to geography and first time attendees at this conference. We have two programs that support individual artists. The Southern Prize and State Fellowships Program is a competition showcasing the best of visual arts in the South. Through an application and blind panel process, one visual artist from each of the 9 Southern Arts states is named the State Fellow and receives a $5,000 prize. From those 9, the Southern Prize winner is selected, winning $25,000, and the runner-up receives $10,000. The Individual Artist Career Opportunity Grant helps artists take advantage of potential career-changing opportunities, like participating in a major exhibition or presenting or performing work at a renowned festival or event. And we have programs that do not always involve grants, but still engage Southern communities with the arts, such as Southern Circuit, a tour of independent films that bring filmmakers to Southern communities. Community screening partners help curate the films and host Q&A sessions with the filmmakers. This year, we have screening partners in Bowling Green, Mount Sterling, and Pikeville, Kentucky. And while we're all social distancing, the screenings and Q&A sessions are happening online. So check these out. We have 2 dance initiatives for presenting and touring modern dance and contemporary ballet. For more than 10 years, we have worked with the Dance Touring Initiative. This initiative works with Southern organizations to improve their capacity to present dance performances, including professional development, grants, and convenings. More recently, with Momentum, we began working with 5 Southern dance companies to increase their touring capacity. Our hope is that organizations throughout the South and beyond will be interested in presenting these amazing companies. And we have some significant programs that are the result of partnerships with regional and national funders. In these mountains is a partnership with the State Arts Councils in Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina to preserve and perpetuate folk, I'm having a hard time this morning pronouncing words, to preserve and perpetuate folk and traditional arts of Central Appalachia. We offer fellowships to master artists, support apprenticeship programs, arts education around Appalachian arts, and documentation and scholarly research. Jazz Road is a national program in partnership with the other 6 regional arts organizations, the Doris Duke Charitable Trust and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. It is an artist-centric touring and residency program to spread jazz throughout the country, strengthen work opportunities and compensation for jazz artists, and bolster deeper engagement between jazz musicians, presenters, and communities. The Creative Placemaking Leadership Summit is an annual regional conference in the South designed to bring together the arts and community leaders to demonstrate how arts, culture, and creativity can offer solutions to major community challenges. South Arts sponsors the Southern Regional Conference with the National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. This year, it will have virtual workshops from February through April and an in-person convening in May in Macon, Georgia. And Arts Ready is an online resource to help arts organizations engage in crisis planning and management. Whether it's a man-made or natural disaster, we all know that preparation is key if arts organizations are to survive. And speaking of a crisis, I want to take just a moment to tell you what South Arts is doing to help the arts community in the South during this time of pandemic. I don't have to tell you how the arts are suffering during this time. Restrictions on facilities, gatherings, and events have struck at the core of how we create, perform, present, and operate. In response to the pandemic, South Arts has implemented 4 new programs. In partnership with the Doris Duke Foundation, we launched Jazz Road Quick Assist Grants to provide relief for jazz artists impacted by COVID-19. We assisted 450 artists nationwide with $1,000 grants to help them through this difficult time for performers. And there were a variety of recipients in Kentucky. As part of the Federal CARES Act through the National Endowment for the Arts, South Arts has distributed over $725,000 in arts relief funds across the Southern region. Most of this money went to state arts agencies in the region, like the Kentucky Arts Council. They then distributed these funds to assist rural arts organizations and culturally specific arts organizations within their states. We also targeted some of the funds to arts service organizations that provide statewide services to the arts sector. By doing this, we were able to further expand the reach of these funds across each state. One thing this pandemic has made clear is the arts sector needs to do more thinking about how it can be more resilient in times of crisis. To help make progress in this area, South Arts, along with the nation's other regional arts organizations, have partnered with the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation to launch the U.S. Regional Arts Resilience Fund. Through this program, South Arts will support visionary organizations with deep impact across their states and the region, with an emphasis on historically under-resourced organizations, populations, communities, and art forms. These grants will allow arts organizations to reimagine their work, increasing their resilience and sustainability as states and cities reopen. We are in the process right now of selecting these grantees and will be excited to make those announcements mid-September. And last, but certainly not least, we have been delighted to partner with the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts to showcase Southern artists in their Arts Across America series. South Arts is working with the Kennedy Center to identify performers from the South for 10 one-hour performances, which are broadcast through the Kennedy Center's online platforms. This is a fantastic opportunity to showcase artists to the Kentucky Center's huge online audience of 30 to 50,000 people. That's a really quick overview of our priorities and programs at South Arts. If you'd like to know more about any of these opportunities, you can visit our website or please contact our staff via phone or email to discuss programs and services. We would love to talk about ways we can work together to advance Southern vitality through the arts. I look forward to staying with you so that during the question and answer period, I can participate. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you so much for that, Susie. And I also want to thank you for the Kennedy Center's Arts Across America. Kentucky got to participate in those performances, and one of the Commonwealth's own performing groups, the Local Honeys, got to participate in that along with Tennessee and Amethyst Kia. And we have seen her already doing other performances in the state of Kentucky as well. So it was great to see those take place. Also want to remind people about, you had mentioned Southern Prize, and that is a great opportunity. And this is one of those places where the attendees who are on today, we would like your help in ensuring that information about that program and other programs from South Arts gets out to your communities and to the artists that you work with. I know with Southern Prize, it is a fantastic opportunity, and we have been seeing more applications come in from Kentucky, but we want to see that number go up. And it's a very competitive program, but it has a cash prize with it as well. And each year someone from Kentucky is going to get that cash prize. And so we hope that we will see more applications coming in from the state on that. The In These Mountains project has been phenomenal, and we have seen so much great work come from that and from the programs. And we're very fortunate that we were one of 3 states to get to participate in this through South Arts and the Cargill Foundation. And I also want to make mention, Susie, I'm going to tattletale on you a little bit here, but with the COVID-19 relief programs that South Arts has put into play, I know that Susie takes all this to heart. She has really challenged her staff to come up with creative ways to make these funds available. She hears every day the stories of how people are dealing with the pandemic and how it is, hurting the artists and hurting the ability to bring in incomes and stuff. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you and your staff have done to make these funds available to, artists in our states. and even with the CARES Act funds that you've been able to distribute to the Kentucky Arts Council. We're very thankful for that as well. But I know I've been on a number of calls with you, and I've seen you get choked up a little bit when dealing with this. So I don't mean to embarrass you about that, but I want people to know that, we take all this to heart. You wear this on your shoulders, and you're always thinking about ways to benefit the artists in our state. So we're thankful for that. And like she mentioned, they are a phone call away. Somebody from their office will reach out and talk to you and will help you as you're trying to develop this project or find where it fits within, South Arts or with the Kentucky Arts Council, or how it even works with the NEA. And as Josh mentioned too, we're all a phone call away, and being able to answer these questions. And I think there has been this obstacle there for a lot of people who think like, I can't just call call on these places. I'm just going to get a recorded message. That's not the case. So thank you again, Susie, for being a part of this. All right, now we have Tamara Coffey from the Kentucky Arts Council. And Tamara has been a part of the Kentucky Arts Council team for more than 12 years. She currently serves as the organization's support and individual artist director. And she does many things in the office, and she's always busy, and even busier now that she's working from home. I have to schedule time to just get a phone call into her because she's always talking to an artist or always talking to an arts group. But Tamara, welcome, and we're excited to have you here representing the Kentucky Arts Council, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chris. So the Kentucky Arts Council, just in case you don't know, hopefully you do, but we're the state arts agency, and we're responsible for developing and promoting support for the arts in Kentucky. We're a part of the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, and we're publicly funded by the Kentucky General Assembly and the National Endowment for the Arts. Our mission is to make it possible for the people of Kentucky to value, participate in, and benefit from the arts. One of the ways we do that is with our Kentucky Arts Partnership Grant. This is our general operating support for nonprofit arts organizations to ensure that there's year-round participation in the arts available to all the people of Kentucky. The deadline is annually on January 15th. Occasionally that'll change if January 15th is on a Saturday or a Sunday. During December, I usually host 2 to 4 webinars on how to complete the application. So check the Arts Council website if you're interested in participating in those. To be eligible for the CAP grant, you have to be a nonprofit Kentucky organization that's had IRS tax exempt status for at least 1 year. And your primary purpose has to be to provide year-round art services and programs directly for the benefit of the public. Just a note that internal programs of academic institutions and state or other agencies supported primarily with state or federal funds are ineligible for this program. We also offer the Kentucky Peer Advisory Network, or KPAN. This provides a 6-hour consultancy with arts professionals to assist eligible organizations with topics like board development, grant writing, marketing and promotion, strategic planning, festival planning, and lots of other activities. There are 2 application windows each year. The first one ends June 15th for consultancies taking place July 15th through December 15th. And the second one is December 15th for consultancies taking place January 15th through June 15th. We're a little bit behind this year, but I think the window is open now to apply. Check the website. And if you are looking for this kind of an opportunity, make sure you talk to Mark Brown, who's the program manager for this grant, and he can help you find the consultant who's going to be best for you. He can also help you figure out where you fit within the topics that are available. The consultancy fees are paid by the Kentucky Arts Council, and these things can happen online, by phone, and when possible in person. So don't pass up this opportunity. Again, to be eligible, you just have to be a Kentucky arts organization or community group that incorporates arts programming. It's open to just about everybody. We also offer the Creative Industry Summit, which provides training and professional development opportunities for all Kentucky nonprofit arts organizations, artists, and others. As Chris said earlier, during the pandemic, instead of our annual in-person summit, we're offering a series of online webinars and workshops like this one today. The next Creative Industry Summit series will be Thursday, September 3rd, beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's called I Was Here, a conversation to create a shared vision for the future through art and history. Look for that, look for registration, and please attend. If you want to stay informed about Kentucky Arts Council application deadlines and activities, as well as other opportunities, sign up for our Arts e-News monthly email. You'll get lots of information about what we're up to and what's coming up for us. Finally, if you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to contact me at any time. I'm happy to work with you to sort things out. And if I have the answers, I'll give them to you. If I don't, I will try to find out. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Tamara. And like she said, she listed her email address and phone number. Please reach out to Tamara if you have questions regarding Kentucky Arts Partnership grants and where you fit in as an organization. She can also help you with individual artist projects. Feel free to call her and reach out for questions about that. But Tamara, thanks again for joining today and being a part of this and representing the Kentucky Arts Council. So now that we've gone through the presentations, we're going to open it up to a Q&A as part of this town hall. And so I'd like to have the panelists join us back on. If you'll turn your cameras back on. All right. So one question that I had come up, and this one was from Judy, and Judy asked, she's particularly interested in learning about grants to fund utilities and payments during COVID, and also any grants for building renovations to create art classrooms in their art center building. You know, as far as, and I'm happy to start this, and if anybody has anything else to add to it, as far as, you know, funding utilities and payments, one of the things that the NEA did when they released the CARES Act funds was they waived some of the eligibility requirements on that so that arts organizations could use those funds to help with costs that are going on at this point. And I know, like, when the NEA made those funds available to Kentucky, we turned around and quickly awarded those funds to our CAP partners. So those Kentucky Arts Partnership organizations were able to receive those funds, and they could use it to help keep their businesses open. Josh, you have anything else that I missed on that?
No, as far as the CARES Act was a one and done situation, unfortunately. So we're hoping that Congress comes back with another sort of CARES Act. They may name it something different, and we're hoping that the Arts Endowment is included in that so that we can get more funds out to the people. But we did, Congress did waive that that general operating support and seasonal support. So you could use it for whatever. If you got a grant, you could just use it for keeping the lights on, paying utility bills, stuff like that. So as far as our end, we don't have any more funding on our end for that kind of a thing, but we're hoping that we're in the next stimulus package of some sort.
And I know like South Arts received funding as well and has made that available to the states. And so in Kentucky, those funds are being used for arts organizations in rural areas of the state, as well as cultural organizations statewide. And so there are organizations that are able to apply for that. As far as building renovations, I'm not aware of any funds out there that can be used for any type of building renovations from, either the state level, regional, or at the federal level. I think a lot of those cases, you're going to have to go to private or sponsors and try to locate funds that could be used for those types of endeavors. And oftentimes, if you've got a good relationship with the landlord or the person who owns the building, oftentimes you can, talk them into making the investment into their community for the arts and help, get those renovations done by that. Okay, let's go to our next question. So this one is from Grant, and he asks, can an organization apply for an NEA grant for art projects in February of 2021 if it applied in July of 2020? In other words, does the choice of deadlines reset with the turn of the calendar year, or is there also a 12-month waiting period after an application?
That's a really good question. I want to find out for sure, but I'm pretty sure that you can apply. You can apply once per year, like I said, in February or July, and I understand that you applied in July and you're asking if you can apply in February. I would assume, yes, you can apply in February because the calendar year has changed from 2020 to 2021. So you can apply once per year.
Okay, great. Okay, I have one here from Maury. He says, I think Josh mentioned the design portion of a renovation though, right? So during your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this one comes from Jessica. Can you go over any grant opportunities currently available at South Arts NEA or KAC? Basically anything with a deadline getting ready to come up.
As far as the NEA, we don't have any grants at the moment. Again, like I said, we're hoping for Congress to pass another bill so that we're part of it, hopefully. But then we're just gearing up for next year, 2021, with the grants and their application deadlines.
And at South Arts, we have the very short, quick grant application to apply for subsidy to go to the Arts Midwest Western Arts Alliance virtual booking conference for presenters. That will open later this week or early next week, but it is on our website if you want to look at what the guidelines are, and it is very short. September 15th is the deadline for the Emerging Leaders of Color program. Traditional arts touring has several deadlines a year. I'm not sure exactly when the next one is, but it does have multiple deadlines throughout the year. Express grants are something like 6 weeks in advance. Some of the professional development grants are 6 weeks in advance. The Southern Prize and State Fellowship Program deadline will be in December. We are getting ready to reopen in the next couple of months our individual artist opportunity grants, and that is a rolling deadline, so you can apply at any point for that. Jazz road tours, if you're a jazz musician and want to put together a 3 to 6 site tour, or if you're a presenter and you want to contact an artist and get them to put together a tour that includes your site, that deadline is a rolling deadline also. You can apply whenever it is convenient and you have your information together. Those are the ones right off the top of my head. I'm sorry, I did not bring a list of deadlines with me. And so those are the ones I can remember, but please check our website.
And at the Kentucky Arts Council, excuse me, we don't have any organizational support grants available at the moment. We just sent out the first payment on the FY 2021 Kentucky Arts Partnership grants. That application will open in January. However, if you're interested in doing one of the Kentucky Peer Advisory Network consultancies, that application will open on October 15th with a deadline of December 15th, and that'll be for work between January 15th and June 15th. And then, sorry, my mind just went blank. Well, Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
That happens.
And so this question comes from Chris. How do I learn more about the upcoming grant opportunities and programs? And so as all of our panelists have mentioned, visiting their websites, but also if you'll go on social media, each one of our organizations has a Facebook page. I know the NEA has theirs, South Arts, and then for Kentucky, it's the Kentucky Arts Council. But look us up on Facebook and follow us. And I know the Kentucky Arts Council, we share posts from the NEA and from South Arts. So we will, as they come out with information about upcoming programs or new opportunities, we turn around and repost those on our social media. So you've got an active line going from NEA to South Arts down to the Kentucky Arts Council about those. And as Tamara mentioned in her presentation, sign up for our newsletter, and you can go to our website to request to be added to that list. And each month, whatever is currently going on or getting ready to open up, or if there is a call to artists, we post those opportunities in the newsletter. And so it's an easy way to be in the loop of what is currently trickling down at each of these levels as far as opportunities that may apply to arts organizations or to artists, to individual artists. And beyond that, if there's a project that you are working on in your community and you want to bounce ideas off of that about how you can creatively come up with funding, or are there grants that your idea would fit into, please reach out to the Kentucky Arts Council. We would be happy to have those conversations. And if we feel that it's something that could fit into one of the other areas, we would definitely refer you to South Arts and to one of the grants that you might be able to apply to there. And then also to the NEA, as far as if it's in one of the different artistic fields or a project that is happening there. But we feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to bring everybody together on this town hall. And Josh, kudos to you for rounding all this up. We originally were trying to do this back in March, and we had everything lined up and we were ready to go, and we were going to meet face to face in Louisville, Kentucky. And then boom, everything happened. And so Josh has reached out to us, and we have back and forth tried to plan a date and a time to make this happen. And so here we are now, we're able to get everybody together and do this. And so, very appreciative to that. But does anybody have any parting words before we leave today that they want to give to the group that we have?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. Like I've said many, many times, contact us, contact the state art agencies and organizations for help. We're here for you. Sometimes the federal level gets a stigma of a bureaucratic institution where we're not there to help you, but to work for ourselves. And that's not true. So please, please, please contact us. And I would say that probably at this moment of time, email is probably the best way to communicate. Most people forward their desk phone to their cell phones, which I did, and it's not working. So if you're trying to call them at their desk, they're obviously not there. And so email them would be best.
And I certainly want to say thank you for giving South Arts the opportunity to talk about what we do. It is always better if we can talk in person, even if it's virtually. And then, of course, as Chris says, follow up with a phone call or an email to any of our staff or to myself, and visit the website. If you can visit the website first, just to get an idea of the types of things that we do and whether there's anything in particular, that's always helpful. But if you can't visit it in advance, just tell us what you're up to and we'll try to point you in a direction.
I just wanted to add, thanks everybody for tuning in. If this information was helpful to you and you know other people who weren't on this call who might benefit from this sort of thing, it is going to be available afterwards, but also have them sign up for our mailing list so we can make sure to include them in the next round of invitations. Also, feel free to contact me with any concerns or questions that you might have. I'll do whatever I can to help you. Just as Josh said, we're here to help. We're not here to keep you from getting access. We're here to make it possible for you to get access. So please feel free to contact us.
That was a good point, Tamara. We did record today's town hall. And so we did a Facebook Live event with this as well. So it will be on repeat. And hopefully those that weren't able to join us this morning will have a chance to later on today or later on in the week to be a part of it. But, I also want to mention that we had a great prelim run through of this presentation prior to this, and everything worked out very well. And, for the Kentucky Arts Council, we have just added this webinar feature to be able to do this. And we feel that this was a great kickoff as the first in a series of our Creative Industry Summit series. And I wanted to mention to everybody as well, the second workshop that will be going on features one of an artist and collaborators of downtown Lexington in the I Was Here project. And this free webinar, which we're presenting in partnership with the Kentucky Historical Society, will be at 11 a.m. on September 3rd. This is based on archival records and the enslavement of Africans that touched almost every corner of the United States. I Was Here synthesizes a wealth of humanities and historical scholarship into a set of iconic ancestor spirit portraits that create a visual history bringing the past into view. The online workshop will feature a panel conversation about the work, the confluence of history and art, and its usefulness as a community tool to bring Americans together to examine and learn from the past and to build a future that is inclusive and equitable for all. Registration for that is free. You can go on the Kentucky Arts Council website or visit our Facebook page, and you will find registration links there to join us on the second in a series of Creative Industry Summit programming that we'll be able to offer. Again, want to thank our panelists, Josh Mauthe, Susie Surkamer, and Tamara Coffey, as well as the NEA, South Arts, and the Kentucky Arts Council for presenting this town hall event. We hope everybody will stay safe and stay healthy out there. And, as our governor says, we will get through this together. And it's great to see all of our agencies aligned to provide these opportunities and to get this message out that we're here to serve you and help as best we can. So from all of us at the Kentucky Arts Council and our Kentucky Arts Council Board, I'm Chris Cathers, and I want to thank you all for joining us and have a wonderful day.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.